Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk all about the first trimester, what I experienced. I am currently well into the second trimester, and it took me a while to actually get to this point where I can sit down and look through all my notes and talk about what I went through. So if I'm looking down, it's because I have all of my notes that I have written down. So I started from the very beginning. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so let's start from the very beginning. I found out that I was pregnant, I think at like 3 or 4 weeks. It was pretty early. And so as soon as I found out, I started writing down notes on how I was feeling because I didn't know what I was going to experience, and I wanted to document it and have something to look back on. So weeks 1 to 5, I didn't experience any symptoms. I felt totally normal, nothing other than fatigue. So I wrote down, it's been a breeze. I have had no symptoms from weeks 1 to 3. However, at week 3, I did have fatigue, like at the end of the day. And then I wrote down, my skin is glowing, probably the best skin I've had in a while. So when I found out I was pregnant, I really had no symptoms. That's why when I took all those pregnancy tests, I didn't feel like it was real, because for some reason in my mind I felt like I was going to have symptoms right away. So I didn't feel anything at all. Like I said, from weeks 1 to 5, everything was great. My skin was at its best, and I didn't feel sick. I felt tired at the end of the day once I got to week 3, but other than that, everything was pretty normal. Okay, so that was weeks 1 to 5. As soon as week 6 started, it was night and day. Here in my notes, I'm looking back and it says night and day, week 6. So I wrote down, I woke up week 6, day 1, nauseous. And I went to my parents' house that day, and the smells in their house just triggered my nausea, and it was so intense. I didn't know how to handle it because it just hit me like I was fine like the day before. And then week 6, that day, I just felt so sick. And I'm not the kind of person that ever throws up or gets nauseous whenever I get sick. I'll get like all the other symptoms, but I'm never nauseous. I never vomit. That's just not me. And so the feeling of being nauseous that day, it just was so overwhelming to me. So I wrote down, I had to wear a mask at my parents' house because it just became unbearable, and I couldn't distinguish what smell was triggering me, but there was like a scent that I just could not get over, so I ended up wearing a mask. I was sick the entire week, and by the end of week 6, food was unappetizing. I wrote down, I can't even drink a lot of water without feeling nauseous. I can't sleep. I'm tossing and turning all night. I feel weak, tired. By the end of week 6, I was nauseous from the moment I woke up until the moment I fell asleep. At that point, I wasn't eating like a full meal. I was just trying to eat just like little things to just settle my stomach. So I was trying like crackers and toast. I had ginger candy. I had mint tea. I tried it all, like iced lemon water, everything that was recommended to me and everything that I had Googled that would help, I tried. And the last thing I wrote down here was, I can't escape the feeling of being nauseous. So it was totally different. Weeks 1 to 5, normal, fine, fatigue that I could just handle, to feeling extremely nauseous, and it had started day 1 of the 6th week, and by the end of the week I was just so sick. I was hoping that I wouldn't get morning sickness, and at first I thought maybe I ate something that made me sick, but then I was just having like all of the symptoms, so I figured that I was going to have a hard time for the next couple of weeks, but it actually lasted a really long time. So week 7, I started getting heartburn, and on top of feeling nauseous, I had heartburn. And so at night I just couldn't get comfortable because I just felt this burning sensation that I just couldn't escape. I couldn't escape the nausea, and now I had heartburn. I wrote down I couldn't do anything, and I've been in bed all day. I feel weak. I'm having very little food. I wrote down water is gross. I remember like I couldn't even take sips of water without feeling like I was just going to throw it all up. I cried this week because I think it had been like a week and a half now of not having a full meal and just trying to eat anything just to survive. And so I was frustrated, and it was a sad week for me. I threw up a lot. I did write down that it helped my symptoms after throwing up, but then felt sick again right away. And then I just wrote down smells. So smells were very strong for me. And at that point I had to stop using my shampoo because the scent of the shampoo that I was using was so disgusting to me. And I had been using the shampoo for years, and I had to stop using it because it was unbearable. Like I couldn't stand the smell of my shampoo, so I stopped using it. And then in week 8, I had a doctor's appointment, and nearby there was a mall, and I had gone into Lush because I had read that like citrus scents could help. So I went in there and I asked them for help, and then they gave me I think it was like a lemon scented bar shampoo. And so I used that for the next few weeks, and I was able to tolerate that. So so I ended up using that because I could not stand my shampoo. So week 8, I wrote down I'm eating very little. I have a huge headache. I'm mentally exhausted. I cried a lot. I'm frustrated. I don't feel like myself. I have heartburn. I'm nauseous. And then motion sickness. So I've never suffered from this, but whenever I was in the car for longer than like 10 or 15 minutes, I started to feel sick. So that was now something else that I had to battle. And I wrote down that the motion sickness lasted for several weeks. So that was week 8. Also, I forgot to write this down, but when the smells started triggering my nausea around week 8, I believe it was really intense. I had to, like I said, stop using my shampoo I don't use perfume because I have eczema, and perfume, body spray, any of that has always just made it worse for me. So I don't use any of that, which is good. But I can smell like everyone else, like my family members, like anyone I was around, I could smell their perfume, and it was bad. But aside from that, I couldn't even stand the smell of my makeup, or even the smell of like blow drying my hair, or like using hot tools like a curling iron or a straightener. The smell of having my hair go through like a curling iron or something, I couldn't even stand that. So what I had to do was, I ended up, one, cutting my hair because I couldn't even stand the feeling of like my hair. It felt like I had like 500 pounds of hair, and my hair was like maybe up to here, and I had to cut it all off. I had my dad just cut it, and we cut it like super short. So we cut like that much off because I couldn't stand just the feeling of my hair. It just felt so heavy. So I chopped off my hair, and then I had to change my shampoo and everything. I stopped combing my hair. I didn't use a blow dryer, a curling iron, a straightener at all after week 6. I just couldn't stand it. And then I think I only combed my hair once for like my birthday and the gender reveal, and that is it. And then all of my makeup, I couldn't even stand the smell of that, so I had to buy Ilia. I bought Ilia just hoping that it was just going to be good for me because it, you know, is clean beauty. And so I bought like everything. Bronzer, highlighter, an eyeshadow palette, one of their like lip balms, foundation. And I was able to maybe put my makeup on a few times throughout the first trimester. But other than that, I didn't even have the energy to do that, which was pretty crazy for me because I'm the kind of person that combs my hair every day, and I have makeup on every single day. It just makes me feel good. So for like 3 months, I think I only did my makeup and hair like once or twice. And other than that, I just didn't comb my hair. I mean, I would brush it, but you know, I didn't like curl it or straighten it or blow dry it or anything. And I didn't put any makeup on because I just couldn't stand the smells. It was that bad. Before I jump into week 9, I also wrote down that in week 8, I started gagging when I would brush my teeth. And there were several times in the first trimester where I brushed my teeth and I would just end up vomiting because I just don't know why. I thought it was, I have no idea. I just didn't know what to do. But then I switched to a different toothpaste, and it was a more mild toothpaste, and that kind of helped a little bit. But during the first trimester, I would gag and sometimes even vomit every time I brushed my teeth. So that was tough. Okay, so week 9. So in week 9, for the first couple of days, I would wake up and I would feel okay. And then by midday, I would just go downhill. Now I remember, yes. So it was like clockwork. I was fine for maybe 3 to 4 hours. And then by lunchtime, I would just go downhill and I would go back to feeling horrible and nauseous. And I would just have to lay down for the rest of the day. I did start taking warm milk at night to help the heartburn, and that helped significantly. So I continued doing that every night that I felt I had heartburn. I would just warm up some milk, and that would really help my heartburn. Okay, so that's all I wrote for week 9. Week 10, nausea came back strong. I'm feeling so tired. I'm back in bed all day, suffering from heartburn. The milk wasn't helping anymore. I have no energy. I had a headache, like a migraine the entire week. So I was down all of week 10. Week 11 wasn't any better. All I have written down here is tired and in bed. Okay, so week 12, I wrote down that I had a migraine at the start of the week, and that triggered like all of my symptoms just to worsen. So I was just tired. I felt sick, nauseous. I was suddenly just vomiting. And I wrote down smells again. So I couldn't get over like the smells of perfume, shampoo, anything that was like really strong. So I ended up switching over to a non-scented shampoo and conditioner, and that helped me out a lot. Week 13, I wrote down having a few better days. I'm still gagging. My nausea has improved a little bit, but I'm gagging most of the day. I'm extremely tired. I'm still not eating. Week 14, I wrote down, I am so exhausted. Brushing my teeth is easier, but I still gag, but haven't vomited, and I have a headache. So those are all the notes that I took for my first trimester. So the first trimester for me was extremely intense. I did not expect that to happen at all, because in the beginning, weeks 1 to 5, it was like perfect. It was perfect. I didn't feel a thing. And then week 6 came around, and from week 6 on, just the constant feeling of wanting to vomit, the nausea, the headaches, the migraines. It was just intense. I couldn't get a full meal. I lost like 8 pounds in the first trimester. I couldn't eat anything. I couldn't even drink water at one point. And I got so scared because I just wanted to make sure that the baby is healthy. And that made me so frustrated, because as much as I wanted to fuel myself and the baby, I really just couldn't. I couldn't even drink water, which was scary for me. And I'm usually a pretty active person, and going from one day being able to do anything to laying in bed for weeks just really was tough for me mentally and emotionally, because I wasn't used to that. And I have worked so hard to make sure that I got to a point where I was happy with my health, like I felt good, and I wanted to have like a happy and healthy pregnancy. And the first trimester was just so intense after week 6. I really couldn't even do just like the basic normal things, like getting up and brushing my teeth. Like I would brush my teeth and throw up, or do the laundry, or literally anything. I couldn't do anything because I wasn't fueling my body. I just literally couldn't keep anything down. And that made me weak and tired and exhausted. And then that in turn made me frustrated and sad. And it was really hard for me. And I didn't think it was ever going to stop. It felt like every day I would wake up and experience the same thing. So I felt like it wasn't going to go away. And so that made me really frustrated. And it wasn't until even after the first trimester that I started to feel better. So I'm currently in the second trimester. I'm feeling pretty good. So I'm going to continue to document all of what I'm experiencing and come back with you and talk to you about my second trimester experience. But for now, that was my first trimester. It was rough. It was hard. I'm glad that it is over. Baby is healthy. It was stressful, but it's over. And I'm past that, and happy to say that I'm in my second trimester. So yeah, that was my experience, and it was wild because I didn't expect that at all. And it is what it is, but we're here. We made it through, and I'm glad to be feeling better and to share my experience with you, because I don't know how many videos I watched as I laid in bed in the first trimester of other women in their first trimester, and just hoping that it would get better for me. So if you're out there and you're struggling in your first trimester, I totally understand. I feel you. I'm so sorry. It was hard for me too. But it got better for me. So I'm sending you all the best wishes, all the positive vibes. And I hope all of you are doing well. I know it's been a while. If you haven't seen my pregnancy announcement video, I'll have it linked up here, or in the description box down below. And I will see you very soon. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace out.